Hello everybody, as per usual I will be starting off with the routine here, and the tracks with a green box over them are the substitutes I did since this is the second week and we like to keep it fresh. So let's dive in. Starting off with Bounce 180 this week. Since I've already done this one a couple times, I'm just going to skip right into the important stuff. So, did I set a new high score for Bounce 180 this week? I did set a new high score of 73. So in related to the high score of 73, I did bring up last week the intermediate goals to advance to the next level, and I threw those back up in the top right so we can look at them right now. But one of the goals there is to get a 70 or higher in Bounce 180, and a 73 is higher than 70. So I already have that goal done for the intermediate training, despite this video and routine being based on the sub-intermediate week 2 for me. Which is really exciting because that's going to allow me to free up more spare time to work on some things that I don't have the high scores for, like 1 wall 6 targets small, and the pressure aiming 7 targets, which I haven't done at the time of this video, as well as 1 wall 6 targets TE. Speaking of the intermediate training that I mentioned, I will be going up to the intermediate level after this week, as I feel like I'm starting to plateau a little bit, and I think getting into some harder courses is going to help me a lot when going for these challenges. So looking at this super scuffed graph, you can see that I have some averages around the low 50, high 40s up into the 60s. I'd say pretty often now I'm more towards the upper 60s, and I'm starting to figure out Bounce 180 pretty well. This is the most exciting week of 1 wall 6 targets small that I have had in a long time, because I finally get to say yes to setting a high score for 1 wall 6 targets small this week. So what changed? Good question. I'm not entirely sure. I did do one run through of the playlist that I mentioned last week that was specifically focused towards improving on this challenge, and I do think it helped, but I also just think a combination of like the right mindset to actually improve on this instead of feeling stale and stuck and just like feeling that I'm not good at static targets. There's some motivation now, especially now that I actually broke my previous high score. Additionally, I did some research on what numbers you need to get the score I'm looking for, which is 1100, and that also comes from that list of things you need to improve out of intermediate into advanced training. So now I know exactly how much accuracy I need and exactly how many clicks I need to do in one run, and I've been working on reaching those numbers. Is that last day not just the most beautiful average you've ever seen? I think things are going to start trending more towards that, but even mid 700s not too bad. But going forward, gotta have 800 plus. Moving over to Passu, we will see. Oh, had to download the aimbot real quick there. Don't worry about that. But anyways, moving over to Passu. I think that was just me probably sneezing or something, because I usually do my aim training in the morning and, you know, allergies and stuff. But we get to ask the question again, did we set a high score this week? Yes, we set a new high score this week. You got the trend at this point. Everything's a new high score. All we do is improve over here week over week. So this week we got a 104 on Passu, which at this point, like, I don't even know if I should be doing Passu anymore, because to go from intermediate to beginner, it only requires an 80 or higher, and I'm at 104. I have the fun of going for the next tiers as well, because going out of advanced into sub aim beast, it requires a 90 plus, and then let's see, going from sub aim beast to aim beast is a 105 plus, so I'm one off of that, and that gives me something to continue to work for. Anyways, I'll treat this one similar to Bounce 180, where I will continue to do it because I'm constantly improving on it and still having fun. But I will save my extra time to focus on something like 1 wall 6 targets, or one of the other ones that I need to improve to get from that intermediate score into the advanced score and advance to the next tier. Overall though, super happy with Passu, and I'm so glad that I continue to improve on it so it doesn't get stale. At this point, my Passu graph's starting to look illegal. Me from a past couple weeks ago would have loved to know that I was going to get this kind of averages in the future. Wow, you remember when I said earlier that I have some other things to work on since I'm doing so well on Passu and Bounce 180 already. You're looking at it right here. Fugla FY short strafes. I am absolutely terrible at this, and I think it's just short strafes in general. So that's going to be something I have to improve going forward. One of the benchmarks to get to go from intermediate to advanced is getting a couple of 38% or higher average accuracies at close fast strafes invincible. I have started working on the intermediate training routine already, and I'd say on average I'm probably getting 25% accuracy. So I have a lot to improve there. Not really sure where that's going to come from yet. I haven't done the research. I imagine some kind of smoothness training as well as just doing some more rounded tracking training in general will help there. But I'll start in the best place to start, which is Reddit and YouTube videos, to see what other people are thinking and how other people are improving on that. And here's the graph for Fugla XY short strafes. Pretty consistent, low 200s. Nothing really too special here. Tile Frenzy 180 strafing 200%. This is one that I just find boring in general. It feels very hard to actually get any improvement or feel any improvement while doing this one. So I'm very glad that it's not part of my intermediate routine that I've started on now. That being said, it is one that I did last week, and so we get to ask the question, did we set a new high score this week? And the answer is yes, we set a new high score this week, because even though it's hard to see the improvement on, still got to get those high scores every week. Come on, let's go. I think in general, I've just focused a lot on this one on hitting accuracy. Speed didn't feel too hard to do, but when you started getting too crazy with the speed, then it's just like my shoulder starts hurting and lines start getting all blurry and everything's going everywhere so fast. So I think just having good control and accuracy in this one was where I saw the most improvements from. That being said, we still got the 98th percentile, so that feels good. So let's look at the graph here. We got an average of like a 1 in middle teens, which isn't too bad considering my high score is 137. So we actually added in Kata IC Fast Strafes this week as a new one that I haven't done before, and it seems pretty similar to just the normal Kata Fast Strafes, but in this one, this little dude will jump up and down like he's Mario. I don't know what he's thinking over there. Like, he's usually just jumping up and down in a straight line. It doesn't even make it that much harder to hit, but it was kind of fun to switch it up a little bit, have something we haven't tried before, have a new leaderboard to climb. And at the very least, we're getting some reps in with the tracking training, which is always good. These longer strafes, not usually too big of a problem for me. I kind of get like the rhythm down better than I do with the faster strafes, and I can actually see the target better. I think that's one of the biggest things that I have with fast strafes. It's just feels hard to see where the target's even moving, so it feels hard to aim at it. And that is something that Aimer7 has mentioned in this guide a couple times, and says that that is something that you can train with your reaction time, and that it is normal for it to be blurry, so that gives me hope. And here's another sexy graph for you with a fire last day. So jumping straight into Ground Plaza Easy, we'll go right into the question, did we set a high score this week? No, we did not set a high score this week. Ground Plaza Easy has continued to be one that I'm having a very hard time setting a high score, and that might be related to that issue with fast strafes that I mentioned earlier. So now I'm going to read a story because I have nothing better to do. A man in a baseball cap stands in line with other men waiting to kiss a woman. The men are of all sorts: fat, short, freckly, legal aides, dishwashers. They're in a part of a strip mall where before the recession was a Subway. A few of them have stood in line here for lunch. The line moves more seamlessly now. The men shuffle forward, never pausing, and when they reach the woman, they peck her on the lips, mouth closed. They've been told before exiting behind the counter where the subs were assembled. The official judge leans in, making sure there is no tongue, calling out the count: 62, 63, 64. The man with the cap is near the end of the line. These men have responded to an ad or been pulled off the streets for the chance to be part of this. And as their turn nears, as they approach the woman, they are sitting on the high stool where the fountain soda used to be. They grow excited, not only by the urgency of breaking a world record, and not only because for all but a few this is as close as they will ever come to an orgy, but because the woman is better looking than they had imagined. They expected a plain Jane or worse, someone desperate for kisses, but this woman, how does she not have a husband? In fact, she does have a husband, though they are not wearing their rings right now. Her husband is one of the men in the line, though he and she do not let on. They do not even hold their kiss a nanosecond longer than her other kisses. It is the record she is after, but even their short kiss is strange and thrilling. since they have not kissed in years. 89, 90, 91. The woman is close to her record. Her minute is almost up. The line grows short. The man in the baseball cap seems even more excited than the other men who are excited. When it is his turn, he steps forward, but he does not kiss the woman. Instead, he brings a long, square adhesive strip from his pocket and in one quick motion slaps it over her mouth. "What are you doing?" the judge hisses. The woman makes a sound no one can understand. The man smiles grimly. The woman's husband rushes back and tackles the withholder. The judge hustles other men forward. They leap over the two men tussling on the ground, but it is too late. The woman tries to tear the tape from her mouth, but she cannot get her fingernails under the corner of it. Through her horror, she understands she has lost the record. She realizes the tape feels more like a man than the man did. It smothers her, and when the man who is next in line and will never get to kiss her now rips the tape off, she remembers a man she used to love years before her husband, who had rubbed his scruff on her lip and chin until her face was nothing but a rash. A rash.